everybody. Okay, I'm about to tell you about 4 Key Stage 2 books which I think are absolutely fantastic. So Key Stage 2 is for children between 7 and 11. Okay, the first book is Good Dog McTavish by Meg Rossoff, which is such a funny story. So this is about the Peachy family. The Peachy's family house is always a mess. They're always late. They are always arguing, and Ma Peachy is so fed up of being mum that she decides to resign and take up yoga instead. And at first the family are really excited because they can do what they want, but they get a bit sick of microwave meals and a messy house. And Betty Peachy, who is the youngest of the 3 children, has an idea, and she thinks that if they get a dog, it will bring the family close together again. So they end up going to a rescue centre and choosing McTavish. And what they don't realise is actually McTavish has chosen them. He's adopted them, and it's his job to fix their family. Okay, so it's a bit of kind of role reversal here. So chapter 1 kind of introduces that whole concept quite well. McTavish's decision to adopt the Peachy family was not the most sensible decision of his life. He could tell at once that they were not one of those easy families, the ones that fit effortlessly into a dog's life. He could tell they were a family with problems. Whether they'd been traumatised early on or were just difficult by nature, McTavish had no way of knowing. But he did know that adopting them would require patience, discipline and hard work. His logical mind told him to wait for the trouble-free family, a family with easy natures and cheerful smiles. But there was something about the Peachies, with their sad little faces, that clinched it for him. "Oh, McTavish," he warned himself. "Are you sure you're not making a mistake? Beware! This could mean years of heartache and frustration." But it was already too late. McTavish had fallen for the Peachy. As you can see, it's a really witty book, and another great thing about it is it's a really good size story for those children who are building their reading stamina to help them get on to larger chapter books. Okay, there's also 3 more books now. One is very, very new. I think it was only published a couple of weeks ago. 3 more books in the McTavish series. This is the first one, but the others can all stand alone. You don't need to read them in order. Okay, so that's my first recommendation for today. Okay, so the next book is Varjak Port, and this is about a cat who lives high up in an old house on a hill with a family that he doesn't really feel part of. He's actually really close to his granddad though, Elder Paul, but other than that, he's not close to his family. One day, an old man and 2 kind of fearsome looking black cats come into the house. And Varjak and his grandfather are quite struck by these characters and think that they are bringing something bad to the house. But the rest of the family don't think so. But Varjak and Elder Paul don't give up, and they decide that they're going to find out what is going on. So Elder Paul teaches Varjak about something called the Way, which is a secret martial art for cats. And even though Varjak has never left the house before, he leaves, he goes over the fence to try and get help from the outside. So he begins a journey into the dangerous world where he has to learn a lot about survival, the Way and himself as well. Okay, I think this book, it's full of adventure and mystery, but throughout it, full of suspense. I read this in one sitting, even though it's quite a large children's book, because I had to know what happened at the end. And it covers interesting themes as well, such as family, being yourself, sticking up for yourself, and kind of what is right and wrong. But yeah, that's my second recommendation for the day. My third recommendation is My Secret War Diary, which is written by Marcia Williams, but is written in the eyes of a 9-year-old girl called Flossie Albright. Flossie Albright is writing this diary during World War II. She endures a lot of hardships throughout the war. So her dad moved away to fight. Her mother has already passed away. So she is bringing up her baby brother by herself. She has got evacuees moving in with her. But actually, throughout the diary, she she brings her own special blend of courage, humour and a kind of a fighting spirit which sees her through to the end of the war. I can't explain to you how beautiful this diary is. Okay, so I can open on any page and be able to show you that it's filled with fantastic handwriting. She's got doodles. I mean, there's images of dried flowers there. She has lots of little kind of flaps or handwritten letters which are sent from family members. Sometimes she has these little secrets, so it's double secret, no entry. Obviously you want to enter it. There's lots of little kind of secrets hidden in there, and it is this photographs. It is just a fantastic resource for learning about World War II and learning about a typical diary layout as well. Those of you that follow my Instagram see that every 2 years my class create a World War II diary themselves, and we use Flossies as inspiration, and the children absolutely adore it. I have to have more than one copy in the classroom just because they all want to get their hands on it. And it's such good inspiration as well. Just from looking through her diary, their diaries are filled with all these little secret flaps, and they've added family trees, and just the layout and the presentation of their work is fantastic. So it's a really good resource for learning about World War II. Everyone needs one of these books. It's fantastic. Okay, and my last book is Rooftoppers by Catherine Rundle. And this is the book actually that inspired me to create my first book review book. And the extract on the front of this book is from Rooftoppers. Because once I read this book, I just wanted to tell so many people about it, and I wanted to share it with children and with other adults. So this to me is a very, very special book. So it's about a girl called Sophie who was found floating on the English Channel as a baby in a cello case. And she was brought up to believe that her mum had died and there was no other female survivors from this shipwreck. But Sophie remembers her mum waving to her from the shipwreck, and she is convinced that she is still alive. And her guardian says that it's almost impossible that she could still be alive. But Sophie knows that almost impossible means that there is still a slight possibility, and that you should never ignore a possible. So she takes matters into her own hands and flees to Paris to go and look for her mother. Starting with the only clue she has, and that is the address of the cello maker. When she gets there, she meets Matteo, who is a child who is part of a network of rooftoppers that live on the rooftops and jump along the rooftops at night. And together they scour the city for Sophie's mother. It is just such a beautiful book. It is full of hope, and it teaches you that no matter what happens or what people say, you should never ever give up. So yeah, ending on a very special book for me for my last recommendation of the day. Bye bye.